So the first thing I'd like to talk about is simplifying your chord voicings. And the main reason I'm going to talk about this for starters is actually just to free up your left hand to be able to play other things. It's actually also a really cool thing to be able to sort of understand your chords a little bit better and be able to work better with other musicians as well. So to start with, I'm going to play basically an A major chord. So that's basically the way most of us learn kind of a bar chord, a bar major shape. And the thing about that is it's a little bit redundant. Like we've got a lot of notes there that we kind of don't really need, and it's just how we end up learning things as a guitar player. So what I will usually do is simplify that down to its basic elements. So a major chord is essentially the 1, the 3, and the 5 of the major scale. So you've, and I counted 1, 2, 3 there, ignore. But we basically, for this, I'll usually simplify this shape to something like this. So you've got 1, 3, and 5 there. And what that does is it clears up the bottom end of the guitar, so the bass isn't so muddy when you've got your 5th down below. And you've got a very clear tonality in the chord. The other thing then, obviously, which is important for this whole exercise, is that you've got your index finger and a couple more fingers free to actually implement bass lines underneath. So we'll just go through a couple more chords and how to kind of simplify them. So starting next with your dominant 7 shape, so we're going to work in A again, and obviously you can move these all up and down the neck. So your A dominant 7 is this sort of shape. So with a dominant 7 chord, I will often just simplify it to 1, 3, and 7. So here I've got 1, the 7 sits there, and then the 3 on top. You can actually add the 5th on top as well, but it's not necessary to actually get the full color of the chord. And then the other thing is you'll actually generally be playing the 5th at some point in the bass line to kind of complete the picture. So it works really well that way. Next we'll just jump to your straight minor chord. So just sticking with the theme of A, we've got A minor like this. With the way you've learnt and played it for years. So I will simplify this just down to this. And the other thing actually you can do with your straight minor and major chords is even just play 1 and 3. So it just sounds like this. And it kind of almost just gets the complete picture that way. Then we go to our minor 7 chord. So that's your minor 7 shape. And then simplified to this. So there's some of the kind of basic shapes. Then for this sort of style of music as well, the other chord shape I really like to use is, well, I'm going to give you the shape because it kind of, the way it works is it depends on what key you're playing in and what tonality, but we'll start with it as a D minor 11, say. So basically starting like, with a D minor bar chord sort of shape at the 5th fret. The D minor 11 is just basically these fingers taken off, so you bar along there, and you've got that shape, and then the chord shape I use is this in the middle. So this is where I start with. So that's on the D, G string, and B string, and just kind of barring across there. But what works great about that shape is that it kind of fits with, most of your straight major sort of chord progressions. You can just flow from there just by changing the bass note. And it's a really... So what I'd like to do now is actually give you a little idea of how this actually sounds just with a simple chord progression. We'll use something that's been used in every pop song since the dawn of time, which is a 1, 5, 6-4 progression. So I'm going to do this in the key of D major. So I'm going to play it, you know, as you would with bar chords first. So we've got D major, A major, B minor, G major. So something like this. So that's what it would sound like, kind of played simply. Now we're going to use that shape I was showing you just a second ago. We're going to play it in D major again. So that's down on the 2nd fret. So this is now going to be our D chord. This is now going to be our A chord. This is now our B minor chord. And this is now our G chord. So essentially what we end up with here is kind of like a D sus2, an A sus4, a B minor 11, and a G 6-9. So kind of just played simply at first, similar strumming pattern with those chords. This is how it would sound. And then broken up a little bit more, which you'll be able to do by the end of this whole video, is something like this.